Take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi. Take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss. Take off the weird ass jewelry, I'ma take 10 steps, then I'm taking off top off. Take off the fabricated streams and the microwave memes, it's a real world outside. Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo.
Check the watch. Yeah. Check the watch. See how much I burned this
like 190.
Yeah. I know, right? All right, guys, welcome to the channel. I just want to give you a little bit of description of what's going on here. So basically we're training, well, a lot of people at my gym are training, but we're training for a tournament that's happening at the end of May, the Quebec Cup. And I just kind of wanted to give you guys a perspective on just the training that we're doing to get ready for this tournament. And then as well, you know, my faith and just how the Lord has led me, not only to boxing, but through, you know, life in general, right? My faith journey started when I was younger, you know, with going to church with my mother. Very, very, you know, my faith was very built upon her faith, so it wasn't strong at all. And then 2023, you know, I left, of course, for a little bit, left following God, was not really living for him, you know, was kind of living for myself. And then in 2023, you know, I came back and, you know, life has been amazing ever since. Not like everything is a win every single day, not like, yo, I'm a multi-millionaire or something like that. No, just in terms of the joy and the peace that I have, I'm just grateful because I know the Lord is who has granted me that joy and that peace, and just kind of want to give you guys, you know, a little bit of an understanding of who he is and hopefully lead you guys to him, right? Make you ask some questions to yourself on, you know, who is God in my life and should I be accepting him? So again, this video series is gonna follow around 3 episodes. And each episode we're going to do a little bit of a training of what we do to get ready for for the tournament, and then we're also going to be talking about, you know, faith and just some topics on it that, you know, right now the Lord's putting upon my heart.
You don't have to jump when you do it. Well, these are just... This is where I get sloppy, Christian. So this is where the magic happens in the edit. Make you look like I was never tired. Hish, hish, hish. You can't tell, bro. That guy over there is a freaking menace. Every time I come in here, Scott will sit here and be like, yo, oh, it's early in the morning. Like, normally you come at what, 6? Freaking come in here and this guy's just sitting there with his coffee. And Ricky do a bunch of crazy stuff. Freaking guy. But I'll tell you right now, it works. Alright? I may have lost the last weight, but in terms of conditioning for just like fighting in a tournament, I can just feel. Yeah, I can just feel myself getting better. You know, just thank God for that, for real. Thank God for Scott every day, man.
Take a round off and then we'll do the circuit.
So that's the first time
Stop.
ever.
Stop.
He's allowed me to take a round off, by the way. First time ever.
I want you to look good for video.
So today we're going to be talking about surrendering, and if you're going to see me looking down, it's because I'm reading off my phone. I'm going to be honest with you. Definitely did not study this thing to memorize it, but also, you know, it's just part of the way it is, right? It's raw footage here. So just talking about surrendering, and oftentimes when we hear the word surrender, we look at it, you know, with a, you know, a negative view, right? Definition of surrender is to cease resistance to an enemy or opponent and submit to their authority. And, you know, you guys are probably wondering right now, is surrendering a negative thing? And if it is, or you guys are probably viewing it as a negative thing, how can it be viewed as a positive thing, right? You know, when we're living for the world, right? When we're living for our flesh, when we're living to satisfy our own desires, right? It seems like, okay, this is the way to go. This is happy life. This is a great life. But the opposition to us living for our flesh is living for God, right? So surrendering in this situation is meaning surrendering to God, surrendering your life to God and living for His will to be done. You know, I just want to talk about, you know, how when I was living for my flesh, I was very happy, you know, for a little while, and then I became less satisfied. It felt like every good thing I had, it lasted, like the novelty of it lasted for like, you know, a week, a month, whatever. And then it would just die down and I would be chasing something else, right? And that's not to say chasing goals and chasing to become better is a negative thing, not at all. But if you're chasing it to fill something that you feel is missing in your life, then you are doing it for the wrong reasons, right? Chasing, when I'm like living for God, you understand that the hole that you're trying to fill with all these things that you're chasing is the hole that's meant for God, right? He is the one that's meant to fill that area in your life, right? So in order for me to escape, you know, this loop and the constant cycle of chasing and climbing this, trying to climb this ladder and absolutely getting satisfied and unsatisfied, satisfied and unsatisfied, I had to surrender. And it wasn't just on my strength that I was surrendering, it was on the grace of God. Like, you know, it was by the grace of God because He gave me the strength to surrender, right? The Lord will provide you with the strength to overcome the daily battles of surrendering, because it is not an easy task to do. Oftentimes we go through life thinking that everything is on us, but what the Lord is saying is, give it all to me and I will be your strength. I will lead you through it.
Okay. I'm ready to go. See, my recovery is so much nicer now, I don't even need the 4 round.
No, I know. Yep. Right at the end, don't stop. Keep going right at the end. Go through the back. right, let's go.
How many calories am I at, bro?
Huh? Don't break it all.
Each one is a break from the other one. Right.
If you want to look at what surrendering looks like in the Bible, let's look at King David, right? King David had everything in the world. You know, he was a king of a great nation. He had the armies, he had the woman, he had everything, all the money, everything, right? But yet he always humbly sought after the Lord, right? He surrendered all that he had to the Lord. You know, he could have lived to satisfy his desires, and there's times where he did. He's a human, right? He's flawed, right? But he would always recognize and realize that what he did whenever he went to satisfy his own desires, not only did it not fulfill him, it left him defeated, right? And it pulled him away from God. But then he would always come back, and God would always show him grace. And it's by his grace that he was able to be a faithful servant, and from his line where Jesus came from, right? So if we look at King David in 2 Samuel 5, 17 and 20, you know, when David learned that the Philistines had mobilized their armies against him, instead of rushing into battle, he asked, Lord, should I go out to fight the Philistines? Will you hand them over to me? And this verse really stuck out to me here, because it's like, man, like you see an army coming at you, and we can substitute army for, you see a bill coming for you. You see, you know, an opponent in the sport coming at you, right? There's two things you can do there. You could either run away and hide and not face the battle, or you could just jump in your own instincts, and it'll probably be just as worse, right? Both of those you don't really take that opportunity to take that step back and to think about what you can have done. And this is what David is showing here by this question of, Lord, will you hand them over to me? Lord, what should I do? It's showing God, first off, although I'm a king, although I am, you know, I have the money, I have the nation, I have the army, right? I am not going to move unless you tell me to. I'm going to let you give me guidance on this. I understand that I'm flawed, and I understand that I make mistakes, but I'm going to seek for your direction. I'm going to seek for your guidance. I'm going to seek for you to lead me in this. And by surrendering, it shows to God that you understand that he, at the end of the day, is the creator of everything, that he is the author of your life, right? And that through his authority over your life, he will lead you, and he will lead you out of darkness. He will lead you out of battles. He will lead you towards battles, but he will also give you the victory. That you have to understand that that's what surrendering means. Surrendering means trusting and giving your life to God, knowing that he will lead you away from the troubles and the pains that you shouldn't necessarily go through. Yes, sometimes you have to go through these battles. David was in the wilderness for, you know, many years of his life, right? But the Lord led him there, and that was because he obeyed the Lord that he ended up there. But the Lord provided for him in the wilderness. But there's times where we end up in the wilderness because we disobeyed God, because we chose to instantly fight the army instead of, you know, or instantly run away, right? Instead of seeking the Lord's direction. And we ended up in that wilderness with him away from us, right? You know, surrendering just means obedience to the Lord. The Lord answered David with David's question was, the Lord's answer to David's question was, yes, go ahead, and I will certainly hand them over to you. David obeyed and was blessed with victory that day. You know what I mean? It's like he listened, he sought the Lord, he waited for the Lord to answer, and he obeyed. These are things that need to happen in order for us to truly surrender and live for God.
Scott, call the day.
I don't know what you're talking
with you
about.
every step of the way, providing performance that lasts long enough to shape the future
Oh,
Yeah, man, it's
to the fair away.
I don't like this guy at all. Sick and tired, bro. Sick and tired of you, Scott.
So leave it. Take your break and then you're going on the hammer.
How many calories am I at?
I folded it so you can't see it.
Why'd you fold it?
I don't want you to see it.
At all?
No.
So I can't even open it?
Next point here is, what happens when we disobey the Lord, right? Before David was king of Israel, there was a king named Saul, whom God had blessed and anointed. God loved Saul and Saul loved the Lord, right? Like David, Saul had the power and control over his kingdom. He could listen to and receive advice from anyone he wanted. Samuel, who spoke to the Lord on the behalf of Israel, once brought a command from the Lord to Saul on how to deal with an opposite nation, a nation that the Lord wanted to destroy, right? The Amalekite nation that opposed Israel. The Lord instructed Saul to completely destroy them from their king to the cattle that they had. So he said, wipe the whole nation out, right? Saul obeyed. He went out and he fought the nation and he destroyed as many things as possible, but he only obeyed partially, right? He captured the king alive and kept the best sheep, cattle, and anything that appealed to him, right? So he said, okay, God, I will obey you, but if there's something there that I like and there's a way for me to satisfy my desire, I'm going to follow through. I'm going to take that as well, but I'm still obeying you, right? I'm destroying their nation, but okay, I'm friends with the king, so I'm not going to hurt him, or that shiny thing that thing looks shiny over there and I like it. I'm going to take that for myself, right? And in that disobedience, God distanced himself from him, right? And when you disobey God, you distance yourself from him as well, right? God will distance himself from you when you disobey him, but you will also distance yourself from him. The Lord became very angry with Saul, and from that day, the Lord took his blessings away from Saul, right? And Saul ended up going crazy, and then David ended up taking his place because God saw that Saul was not truly surrendered to him, but he saw that David was. Surrendering means trusting the Lord. Right, Saul's lack of trust in 1 Samuel 15 showed God that Saul didn't believe that the Lord could provide something better. Right, Saul saw an opportunity to take the best of what his enemy had, and instead of trusting God, he disobeyed to satisfy his desires. Right, so in that he showed God, okay, God, like, I trust that you will give me this victory, but I also don't think you will be able to provide me better than what I'm seeing in front of me, better than this new shiny car, better than this new job, right? How many times do we jump into something, right, when the Lord has told us, hey, wait? How many times do we jump into that thing, and then it turns out that was not necessarily that was not the best thing that he had for us? At the end of the day, you have to understand that God sees 50, 30, 100 years in the future. Like, you know what I mean? He was here before, he'll be here after. So he knows what's going to happen before it does happen. And he give us that free will to either follow him, to obey him, or to not, right? And oftentimes we choose to not, or whenever we choose to not obey him, right, we always end up looking back at like, man, I wonder what would have happened if I had obeyed the Lord, right? And that's me so many times in my life where I failed to obey him and I fell for that reason, right? So surrendering is just very simple in terms of trusting in the Lord and obeying him and humbling yourself before him. Surrendering, how often do we fail to obey God because the opportunity in front of us seems like our best shot at gaining status or escaping a tough situation, right? This is why we got to focus on the Lord's promise and trust that he is an honest God, right? John 10:10, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. I've come so that they may have life and have it to the full. So understand that God's desire for you is to have life and have it to the full. He is not here to harm you. Not to say that you're not going to face challenges, but you have to understand that with God with you and with you obeying God, with you surrendering to God, he will give you the strength to overcome those challenges. Oftentimes he puts us through these challenges to grow our faith and grow our reliance on him, to grow our trust in him, right? In terms of looking at it, right, surrendering means running to him with everything and truly leaning on him in every situation, no matter what it is. And this is an area of my life where I'm trying to, and I'm continuously growing in and day out, right? Because again, you need his strength, you need his grace. You also have to understand that you're a human in order to to destroy, you know, your humanistic desires, your human nature. You have to destroy that, and you have to give everything to God and trust that He will lead you away from destruction, which by nature, if we continue to go down the path that we're on, we will end up in destruction, right? Because we're far away from Him. Wherever He is not, good cannot be.
So, I'm not a boxer at all. I'm like an MMA guy, so I did a lot of karate, jiu-jitsu was my thing. So Mike Bellows came to our gym in Waterloo, and then he switched to boxing, so that I'll just come here and hang out and watch a bit. I liked the kid a lot, so then just fell in love with the sport of boxing for sure. I like working with guys like Matthew just because athletes, I like to support athletes. I like to kind of push them. Matthew was a little bit weak with kind of his strength with his mind. So when we do like the circuit train that we're doing today, or like what he's doing with the hammer today, the harder they push themselves, the more confidence they have. The more confidence they have, the more comfortable they are in the ring. The more comfortable they are in the ring, the more they can push themselves in the ring. So that's kind of, I feel, is my role, is to kind of mentor them into making themselves a better man and a better athlete. That's really, I feel what my role is. I can't teach great combos. I'm not a boxing coach per se, but I can see technique, I can see things that need to be fixed. But teaching combos, that's not my thing. Teaching boxing specific things, that's not my thing. But just pushing these guys to become the man and the athlete that they need to be, the potential you can see in them, that's kind of what I feel that my role is.
C'est fini.
So in terms of correlation to my life, right, you know, I'll just talk about it more in terms of boxing right now, but, you know, I'm an anxious guy naturally. Even this right now, I'm not a fan of it. But I'm an anxious guy naturally, especially before fights. You know, I get nervous and I lack confidence, but then I bring all my thoughts and all my doubts before the Lord, and I trust that His will be done. And the Lord provides me with peace, right? Isaiah 26:3 says, you will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you. And once I've turned my life to God, I realize that He has given me peace that surpasses all understanding. Like genuinely, like I feel at peace. I'm comfortable with whatever situation happens, troubles, wins, losses. I understand at the end of the day that He is with me and that He will continue to lead me. That is, again, surrendering to the Lord, trusting in Him and not being swayed by the things that go on in this world, because again, this world is so volatile. Things in this world can change in the blink of an eye, sometimes leaving you scrambling, but trusting in the Lord will provide you with peace in the midst of any storm. So just remember to continue to trust in the Lord and just know that He's with you, right? And although it may be hard, although you may have your doubts, just know that He's leading you through this, and that it's by His grace and by His strength that you will be able to surrender. And the final thought, is don't give up, right? Just because we say surrender doesn't mean you just got to give up, right? We got to fight even harder against our flesh and continue to put in the work every day to prepare for the battles we will face, right? I trust that the Lord I trust that the Lord's will be done in my boxing career and in my life in general. But does that mean I should just stop training and just wait for the victories to come my way? No. You know, if anything, it means I got to train harder because, you know, the Lord will put these opportunities in front of me, so I got to be ready to take these opportunities, to take the opportunities that He's providing, right? I need to be ready to take hold of it, no matter what, right? You know, the walk on the road with Christ is definitely not an easy one. You know, that's why we got to continue to seek Him day in and day out, and understand that His strength is like it's. You can't do this on your own. If you try to do this by your own strength, you will fall. You will fall. You will go back to your old ways. You will fall back into sin. But it's by the strength of God that you'll be able to overcome, and you'll be able to go on this journey and this walk, knowing that He has changed you, and knowing that He is, like, you know, knowing that you have that peace and that confidence to be able to just walk in, knowing that no matter what happens, no matter what you face, what challenges come your way, that it will all be okay, because again, you're not relying on your own strength, you're relying on His strength. You know, and just a final thing to leave you guys with is Proverbs 21:31. The horses prepare for battle, but victory belongs to the Lord. You know, so continue to work hard while trusting in God and knowing that victory belongs to Him over your life, and that the victory's already been His, right? He's already won the battle, right? All it is now is for you to trust and surrender to Him. So, you know, I hope at the end of the day, you guys are able to understand what I was trying to say here, or, you know, it might come up a little bit jumbled up, but, you know, I hope you guys are able to take this away and, you know, think about surrendering to the Lord and trusting in God, and just how that will change your life and how He will continue to guide you on it. So again, wishing you guys all the best. See you next time. God bless.
Well, here we are. What, 3 months?
I was thinking today we were good. Like, you don't quit at all anymore. Has it been 3 months?
No.
Not.
Yeah, no, it has been 3 months. December, January, February. Yeah, man, 3 months gone. We got another 3 months till freaking.
What's your calories?
Quebec Cup. What's it say? Total 952. We were so close to 1,000. But
That's upsetting to me.
it is upsetting. It is upsetting. Good. Because for me, it's not. It means I got to save a good.
You'll do 50 calories in like next couple minutes.
Yeah, I know. If I skipped, I would have gotten.
No, even just now, just to this power.
Oh yeah. Because for in terms of weight.
No, like your calories will keep burning as your heart rate's up.
Yeah.
Body temp's up.
But getting ready for freaking Quebec Cup. Wait, what is it? End of May. Should be a good one, man. I did my first tournament this year at Brampton Cup. That was good. It was a good experience to kind of like see what it felt like to train for one of my first ever tournaments. So again, different experience, good fighters, learn the type of guys that are really my kryptonite in this game right now. But just grateful for Scott, grateful for the whole team here, man. Like genuinely, like the way we work, and like, you know, just as partners I have, like I just know there's going to be growth there, and I'm just looking forward to see how that translates into Quebec Cup. Of course, the goal is to win, but at the end of the day, you know, it's in God's hands and it's God's will, but at the end of the day, we're just going to keep working. But yeah, man, looking forward to getting it done. Peace!